Hi, I'm Sue Elliott.
And I'm Ed Holland. Welcome to this special employment edition of Ready, Set, No, brought to you by Informing Families Building Trust.
You know, Ed, even though Washington State has one of the highest employment rates for people with developmental disability, we still have a lot of challenges for people who haven't yet found a job and are struggling to get one.
Part of that's due to the economy and some cutbacks in services. But you know, there's still a lot of good opportunities for people with developmental disabilities to obtain jobs through the connections that they can make in their communities and through their families.
We recently spoke to two parents who had very different stories about how they found success in early planning and community connections.
Ben, who is this?
Mrs. Eaton.
This is Mrs. Eaton. Hi, Mrs. Eaton.
Hi.
And Jeannie in the background. We live in a very small rural community, and the nearest more populated town is about 40 miles away. So we had to be creative and really think about what kind of things could we start in the community. And you really can't rely on people to do what you would like sometimes to see done.
You know, I didn't have some crystal ball. I sure wish. I just kept thinking this. Her future was such a dark, not dark, but just a void. I mean, I had no idea what could be available for her or what she could do. I hadn't even thought about Corey ever having a job. I mean, I just kept thinking maybe school can just go on forever and ever and ever and ever, because a job is just something that it's just was over my head as far as how I would go about all that.
We knew what Ben wanted to do. He was very vocal in telling us that he didn't want to ride the bus. He wanted to live in Dayton. He wanted to work in Dayton. He wanted to sell cards and make money to save up to go and do different things that he had planned to do. And so on the IEP, part of the plan was to work on skills to develop the card business. So the cutting skills, the drawing skills, and then we moved it out into the community. And my friend, her and her father own a pharmacy in Dayton. And so one day we were talking about this issue, and she said, well, why don't we put a table of Ben's cards and gifts there in the Elk Drug right at the front. And so a para-ed came down. You know, he sold the cards, or made the cards basically for his senior project. Well, at age 21, school stopped. So we tried for about a year before he graduated to continue that piece on, but that didn't happen, and it was a very difficult time. A lot of calls to the state office, a lot of calls to people in employment trying to figure out how could Ben stay supported in his community, in the job that he's already been doing. So when school stopped, Ron and I and his two sisters, Rowene and Etta, all took turns supporting him for about a year in that job. So eventually our county entity took him on, and they've been supporting him now for about 2.5 years.
She started having job experiences while she was in high school in Richard Haynes' classroom. And one of the job experiences she had was taking people on tours through the resource center, where all the business of the school district is done. And Richard thought that would be a good thing for her to do. I think probably for just to get her out there and to have her with the public, and to get her speaking and talking to people. And so she volunteered to do those tours with the district. And the superintendent asked her, or somehow it didn't hurt that my dad was in Kiwanis with the superintendent of the district, because he knew about Corey. But when she went down there to the district office and was doing the tours, he noticed her. And that's how she got her job. He offered her a full-time job right out of high school. I think probably the largest piece of the whole puzzle is your family connections.
My cards are $1 each, and I sell gift bags and bookmarkers and cards. That's all I sell.
He has his dream life, and if we look at that person-centered plan and everything that everybody wanted for him and what he said he wanted for himself, every single one of those goals have been achieved.
And I put the preschool applications mail in here.
There was a budget crunch 5 years ago, 6 years ago, whatever that was, and her hours were cut, and it was tough. It was tough to know that she'd only be working part-time, but it was great to know that she still had her benefits. I mean, she still has benefits, insurance benefits, but it's the association with the coworkers, it's friends, it's taking pictures when you've gone to the ocean for a weekend, because your coworkers want to see your pictures and they want to know what's going on in your life, and that's why Corey's job is her life.
We can't stress enough how important it is to make the most of your family connections. After all, that's how most of us and most young people today still find jobs.
That and building job skills at a young age. We're talking about things like communication, social skills, following directions, work ethic, independence, self-advocacy, community awareness. All of these skills that translate into employment.
For more information and resources on employment, visit the Informing Families Building Trust website and sign up for our listserv. That's it for this special edition of Ready, Set, Know, brought to you by Informing Families Building Trust.